Good morning, Judge Soto. I want to thank you for accepting our invitation for this interview for the New York County panel for the LJA History Project.
Thank
As you
you, Judge Mendez.
and again, I thank you for accepting our invitation. You are considered one of the pioneers for the Dominican community in the judiciary in the whole country, in the entire United States. But this interview is going to be based only on your experiences as a New York County judge, because you were, of course, elected to serve in New York County, correct?
Yes, I was elected in the municipal district, the seventh municipal district. I was actually elected by Dominican citizens of the United States of America. I'm very proud of that.
Well, I want to ask you a few questions because I want those that are watching this interview to get a flavor of who Fabiola Soto is and how she came to become a judge of the civil court first and the court of claims later, and what motivated you to want to become a judge. Uh, so the first question that I have for you, and which is something that I would like you to do, is give us a general background of who you are. I want to know, where are you from, where did you grow up, what schools that you attend. In short, I want a summary of Fabiola Soto before she became a judge.
Well, I'm a product of the public school system of the city of New York. I actually live in the district in which I was elected, and I grew up in the district. That's Manhattan in Hamilton Heights, the west side of Harlem. As a little girl, I went to junior high school 43 on 129th Street, Amsterdam Avenue. I graduated from George Washington High School, and I went to City College, which was actually only 2 blocks away from where I lived. While I was in City College, I was able to do work study. And my work study program, I worked as an intern for the New York City Probation Department in Manhattan, juvenile probation. So I used to go to family court all the time, um, carrying files, listening to arguments. And then I would see these young attorneys, and I said to myself, I could do that. So I decided to apply to law school. But let me tell you, when I graduated from law school, my mother was in the front row screaming and yelling with all of my family. And it was the happiest day of my life. So then with the bar exam, and people were saying, well, okay, made it through law school, you're not going to be able to pass the bar. I said, well, no, 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 no. That would be the big shame upon me and my family. So I passed the bar on the first time, and that was another sense of joy in my life. And I was able to get a job as a lawyer, and I became involved in community affairs, and I was very proud of myself. My community was proud of myself. I moved, when I became a lawyer, I moved a block away from my mother's house. Everybody in the neighborhood knew who I was. They were so proud of me when I walked in the street. There was a sense almost of joy. I sat in criminal court, and some of the people who in my neighborhood appeared before me were my neighbors. And every time they saw me, they also felt a sense of pride, no matter what. The people, the defendants, their families, and to this day, it fills me with joy that I was able to, accomplish such a big thing in my life.
But just sort of, I want to know, after you graduated from college and you decided that you were going to go to law school, and after you graduated from law school, what inspired you to seek a judicial position? What inspired you to run for office, to run for a seat in the civil court?
Well, as you know, I started my legal profession in legal services because I was very concerned, especially when it came to welfare law, about how young women were treated in college and denied benefits because they were actually pursuing their education. And then I became a lawyer in private practice, and I felt that I was able to help so many people in that area. I got psyched up thinking, well, I can help a lot of people in my little practice, or I could help a lot of people in in being on the bench. So
So you felt that you could help a small community with your practice, but a much larger community by being on the bench.
yes, yeah, yeah, that's how I
Interesting.
felt.
Now, before running for office, were you involved in any political, civic, and or legal organizations?
Well, I was very much involved in my community.
What bar associations were you a part of before you became a judge?
I was a member of the city bar for a long time because uh, at one point my practice was downtown, like a block away from the city bar, and I needed a place to go to do research, you know, because libraries are very expensive, and they were always, you know, very welcoming. And then I was a member of the county bar, which I loved because it was much a more homey experience, you know, I thought.
Mhm.
And I was a member of the Bronx bar for a long time, many years during my practice, the friendly bar. And that's where I did make a lot of lifelong friends there at the Bar Association, the Bronx bar. They really helped me a lot too. They helped me a lot. You know, I was able to grow. I was able to watch other attorneys learn how to do my depositions better, you know, jury selection. Bar associations are very, very important because that's where you build relationships, you develop your skills, you learn from other more experienced lawyers, and that's what I received from the bar associations.
What um, what year were you elected to the civil court?
1993, I was elected November 1993.
And
I
what
was
seat were you elected to?
I was elected to civil court in the 7th municipal district, you know, in the civil court. And instead of sitting in civil court, of course, they put me OCA because of diversity issues. They placed me in criminal court. And I sat in criminal court for 4 years, which is very, very rewarding. They wanted people sitting on the bench who actually looked like the defendants coming through to give people in the neighborhoods in the community more sense of being a part of the system of a trust. And I was so honored to be there. They had to take me off the bench kicking and screaming practically in criminal court. Loved it so much.
What counties did you sit in
I
when you
sat I,
sat in criminal court?
I sat in Manhattan first, and the judges there got a little concerned because I live in Manhattan. And so then I was placed in the Bronx, and I love the Bronx. I sat there for most of my criminal, you know, criminal court experience in the Bronx.
Now you mentioned that you sat in the criminal court because of diversity issues. They wanted uh, judges that looked like the people that came before them. Uh, what was the judicial landscape in terms of Latinos when you got elected to the civil court in 1993?
Well, I was the first Hispanic ever elected to civil court in New York County. I
Ever
remember
elected?
ever elected civil court in New York County. The first one. Nobody people don't really realize that. So I remember the first day I walked into 111 Center Street to go upstairs and speak to the Jackie Silverman. She was the administrative judge then. And I'm walking into the elevator, and somebody in the back turns around and says, "Excuse me, this elevator is for judges only." And I turned around and said, "Well, luckily, I am a judge." You know, and that happened all the time to me. I remember walking into the courthouse, and the court officer saying, "The interpreter's here," you know, and that really made, you know, that really hurt me for a long, long time. I became insecure. I mean, growing up, you know, as a Black woman, as a Hispanic woman, I never really felt as good. You know, the feeling you get because of, you know, the positions, the way we grew up in the public school system, and the way our teachers look at us and our colleagues look at us. It took me a long time for me to develop that sense of, when I talk, nobody talks attitude, being in charge, putting on this robe and knowing that I'm no longer Faviola Soto. I'm Judge Soto. I'm a representative of the state of New York, of the city of New York. And I sit proudly now, very proudly and judiciously.
Now, Judge Soto, you got elected to the civil court, you sat in the criminal court, and what is your current position?
Currently, I'm a judge in the Court of Claims. I'm what's called a Paragraph A judge, one of the constitutional judges that decides cases against the state of New York. And that's really our only defendant here, the state of New York.
Well, that's a court that many people have. I'm pretty sure that in the legal community, people have heard about, but people out there in the general community have never heard about. Can you tell us briefly what is an A judge and what is the significance of you having been appointed by the governor to the Court of Claims?
It's a very, very privileged position. In fact, one of the the members of the county lawyers association told me that I was a member of the king and queens portion of the judiciary. But we do handle all the cases against the state of New York. So we handle everything. Basically civil matters, from anywhere from medical malpractice, because we have state hospitals, slip and falls because people fall in front of state buildings, construction cases, contract cases. We do the full gamut here. So I still have the opportunity to dabble in every aspect of the law, not criminally, and to some extent in my 8B cases, but civilly, all the cases, all types of cases. So the variety is wonderful.
And what year did you were you elevated to the Court of Claims?
2006.
Well, you've told us about the obstacles that you and challenges that you confronted on your path to the bench. But I want to know from you, what advice do you have for those aspiring Latinos and Latinas seeking to join the bench? What advice would you give a young lawyer who is aspiring to join the bench?
Well, that because you have to really make yourself outstanding in order for you to shine in front of these committees. I was the first, so I didn't have really to overcome a lot of obstacles. But now there are a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of competition. So how are you going to make yourself shine? You have to figure out a way. Of course, you're going to join your political party and get to know the politics, but you also have to follow your passions. What are you really interested in? Are you interested in writing, or maybe writing an article for your neighborhood newspaper, writing a column or something, or volunteering in your neighborhood, and there's so many not-for-profit organizations that you can join where you can really make a difference. That's what we want to do. We want to make a difference. And if you make a difference, you will be recognized. Of course, education is very important. You have to have the right credentials, and it's not about luck, because you make your own luck. And how do you do that? You do that by shining. And everybody shines different.
What would you like the bench, the bar, and the community to remember about you? What would you like your legacy to be?
I've always been a very hard-working judge. I pride myself on being able to dispose of cases, being able to run cases efficiently. My motto to the lawyers is always, my job is to make your job easier. How can I do that? How can I get this case moving as quickly as possible? How can I get my decisions out? Why are we really here? And that's what I think we are really here, to help the system move along, to help justice. Justice delayed, I always feel, is justice denied. I always fault judges who neglect their cases or have giant backloads. I move things very quickly because I know lawyers want swift decisions. They want to know either one way or another how you're going to rule so they can determine their next step. And that's what I want my legacy to be, you know.
Well, Judge Soto, we thank you for this interview. It's a very inspiring story. Um, I'm pretty sure that the people in your community must feel really, really, really proud of you, of the things you have accomplished coming from such humble beginnings to go all the way up to the, as a lawyer you said, put it, the king or queen's bench in the state of New York is quite a feat. Uh, Me as a Dominican, I feel very proud. I feel that you've opened doors for others, such as myself, to somehow get through. And like you said, the same way that we have family reunification and we help each other come from the old country here to the United States, the land of opportunity, it's the same way that we have to somehow help each other and extend that hand so that others can follow in our footsteps and also ascend to the bench and one day also be able to put on that glorious black robe that you are wearing right now.
Thank
So
you.
for that, for being an inspiration and for setting the example for others, I thank you. And of course, for this interview, we are tremendously grateful to you. Is there
Thank you.
any last words you would like to say?
Just that I'm so proud of being a member of this community, of being judiciary, of having so many wonderful colleagues that I call my brothers and sisters. You, Manuel Mendez, you are my brother. And you ascending to the appellate division has made me so proud. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe Soto.
Thank you.